There's a video, so this is a Cafe Berlin breakfast and lunch. Let's start. So we're going for the breakfast before the wine tasting. All right. Oh shit. Hello. Before the wine tasting, huh? Yeah. All right, so.
He's a vlogger.
Yeah.
Oh, that was bomb, dude. Has like a Mediterranean twist to it. With a fucking...
Some healthy breakfast is here, guys.
Yeah,
Have you seen?
absolutely.
All right, so before the wine tasting, right? This one? All right.
Oh, my huevos exploded.
We have an appointment. We're from the State House.
Okay, and your name, please?
Luis.
Luis?
It was done by Sergio.
Yep, fantastic. How are you?
Hi,
Good.
how are you doing?
Yeah.
We're
Very
6
well.
guys. The other 3 that are just behind us.
Okay.
All right.
You are?
Fantastic. I'm Paul.
I'm Luis.
Luis, nice to meet you.
All right. I'm Niroz.
If you just go straight and make the loop, we have a parking spot up top.
Okay.
There's a nice walkway through these redwood trees that Joe planted many years ago. And you'll come down that flight of stairs. I'll let your host know you're here.
We will
All
love
right.
to see that. Thank you so
All
much.
right. Thank
See you
you.
momentarily.
All right. Nick, what's up?
What's up?
Yeah, all right. So we are finally here on Joseph Phelps Vineyard. So after driving like 45 minutes from Petaluma, so it's the beautiful place. So all right, here's a Luis. So you want to say something, Luis?
Hey everyone,
Right.
we're here at Joseph Phelps with the crew of 6 people.
well.
All of us are 630 Parkers.
All right.
And we just wanna let everybody know that we're here to do the best
Best
work
what
to
to do.
learn and
And
deliver the information
listen.
to the guests at 630 Park. These are purpose and values of the day. Thank you so much,
Let's
and we will continue with
do
this
it.
video.
All right, thank you. All right, here we go. Everyone is here. So we have around like 10:30, right?
Yeah. John, I'll stick for that thing because I told them the Chateaubriand is here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
All right. So
John, I was reading that get that
how you feel, Nick? It's good.
Yeah, bro.
But, yeah. All right.
Ready for vlog?
Right. Yeah. After breakfast, huh? Finally.
The Chateaubriand is here. You want one?
Tell us.
Should we all gather
What you
around
can
him,
tell
bro?
us. What you can tell us about Joseph Phelps?
Joseph Phelps.
The beginning of Flagship. You check to be on.
All right. Very nice.
Because John's like, I need some drugs. You walk first. This way.
All part the way, dude.
Hey, can you guys wait? Let's get Chateaubriand.
All right. So
You're a Chateaubriand.
this is the main entrance. Hello. All right.
Okay, they were required to use a wear mask.
It's
Optional.
Oh,
Yeah, really outdoors.
Can I make a video?
Gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you to Will.
Well, how are you? I'm Luis. We got
Uh-huh.
the 635 crew, and this is one of the guys that moved up Sonoma. That's Jared. That's Chateaubriand. That's Fernando. And that's the Rouge. All of us, we are still at the wine distillery, and people arrive.
I'm going to help you sell wine.
All right.
Take it happen. Let's go, Chateaubriand.
Let's go. All right, it's beautiful here. All right. Wow, this is all right, nice. All right, so after breakfast we're gonna do the wine tasting. That's nice, right? All right.
And yeah, so welcome to Joseph Phelps. And we're gonna touch on quite a few things, but before we do, it's nice to not have to remind anyone to take a mask off. But we're a little bit slow to change and get back into things, and hopefully things don't go in the other direction. But you know, I would recommend leaving a little bit of the cab in your glass so you can taste it next to the Insignia and then taste it next to. And what's cool is these are all the same vintage. It's all going to be 2018 Napa Valley Cabernet. So this is the only wine in our portfolio that's been in our portfolio from our first vintage in 1973 all the way to our current vintage and every year in between. Streak, which seems like it's going to stop next year. We'll see. And I think just some kick-ass Napa Cab. This is a wine that, you know, when I did beverage programs throughout my career, that I leaned on a good bit because it's going to punch above its weight, it's going to deliver, and part of the challenge with restaurants in particular, as you know, is people can't always appreciate the markup, right? We have to mark things up, we have a budget, we have to hit, and it's different. So to me, it was always important when I'm trying to put together a good beverage program is to have things that are going to outperform their station. You know, Danny Meyer's quote on hospitality, which is one of my favorites as far as hospitality. He says, you know, service is delivering on a promise, and hospitality is delivering on a promise and making somebody feel good about it. And that's a key difference. You know, if you order a hamburger and somebody gives you a hamburger, that's great. You delivered on your promise. That's service. You know, if you told them about where that cow came from and what that cow ate for its life, and you know the care that the rancher gave it, and then how you broke that, you know, how you break that down, and how you're caring for that meat. And all of a sudden they have that hamburger and they feel like they had the part, you know? Are you supposed to compare them, dude?
This is from like 2000.
Sorry, I'll
Which?
fix you.
Thank you, dude. Right, I thought of it.
No worries. I'll pour you guys a little bit more. No, don't do that. Don't do that.
You just did what I did, bro.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Hold on to your olives.
Now this one, yeah, I'm sorry. There you go.
This one.
Now when you can pour it out.
Yeah.
No. You just poured that one in.
No.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Okay.
that one is a good
He
one.
poured mine.
That's the old one. Okay.
This one is from which vintage, the Insignia?
So this is our Insignia. Insignia is our flagship wine, one of the great wines of the world. This is a 2018.
Oh yeah, that's
Again,
the one. Yeah.
so this is I would say it's a baby, but it's not a baby. This is like a sonogram at this point of Insignia. But Insignia is a little bit of a double-edged sword. One thing that's nice with I don't know if it's nice or good or bad, but it's very approachable at a younger age for a wine of this caliber. I think extremely so, which is dangerous because you throw a little buzz into the mix, like, it's fine, open it up, and there it goes. So, but you know, like I said, one of the great wines of the world. That's fun to say. It's even better to taste. So I'll let you guys dive into that for a moment. I'm gonna top
like-
off a little bit of your Cabernet,
Oh, thank you.
and I'll
Blackberries.
come back. We'll pick up Joe's story, and I'll talk about what makes Insignia so special.
Sweet.
I feel like this blackberries something, blackcurrant fruits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see it. Honestly, I'm not that good at like picking out all the little things. I can like kind of taste it, but
For posterity.
It's hard for me on Cabernets.
it's big off.
Pinots are easier.
So your restaurant that you're at there,
We have
was
it.
it 6:30, right?
Yeah, 16.
And I'm good. Thank you. Good
You
job.
just want a little, just to
No,
look at
because
it.
I'm driving. I already have a good sense for that one.
In 1974, Joe wants to, I'm going to talk about Insignia and then I'm going to talk about Bacchus, okay? So, in 74, Joe wants to make a flagship wine, and they decide they're going to make a flagship Cabernet. They identified that Cabernet grew the best here, and that's what Joe wanted to do. So, a couple of challenges at the time. One, American wine still isn't on the global scene. It's not a sought-after region of the world yet. It's about to begin its ascent, but it just hasn't arrived. And still kind of frowned upon as far as the world stage. The other thing is when it comes to American wine, we call them by their varietal names: Cabernet, Merlot, Pinot Noir, etc., because that's what they tended to be. We called it Cabernet because it was Cabernet. We called it Merlot because it was Merlot. What we weren't doing early on the American wine scene was blending different grapes together. The thought of the American consumer was something like, if your Cabernet wasn't good enough to be called Cabernet, then it probably wasn't very good if you're blending other grapes. Same with, if your Merlot wasn't good enough to be called Merlot, that you had to blend it with other grapes, it probably wasn't very good, and there was no margin in making those wines. But what some people in here that were making great wines, and some people were making some beautiful wines here, did understand was sourcing in terroir. And what you could do is if you found some Cabernet down in Rutherford, let's say, and some Cabernet up in Calistoga, was put those Cabernets together to make your expression of Cabernet. Or some Merlot from the Shady Hill with the sunny spot and, showcase the terroir a little bit different, again, to make your expression of Merlot, etc., etc. So Joe tasked Walter, his winemaker, with making this flagship Cabernet. Walter puts all these blends in front of Joe. Joe drinks down the lineup. He gets to the last glass and he takes a sip and he says, "Wow, Walter, that's really good, but that's not Cabernet. Like, what did you do there?" Walter tells him, "Well, it's mostly Cabernet, but it's got some Bordeaux varietals in there, and I think that given the conditions here in Napa, that will allow us to make a better wine year over year." And Joe's whole goal, his whole purpose at this point, his whole passion is to make the best wine that he can. But he looks at Walter and says, "Well, that's great, but it's not a wine problem that we have here. It's a marketing problem. I'm not going to use all this sweat and treasure and all these resources, make this beautiful wine, throw it on a shelf and call it red wine, red blend, red table wine, whatever. Nobody's going to be able to appreciate that. So, get to work. We need a Cabernet blend." Walter gets back at it, comes back a week or two later, puts another lineup in front of Joe. Joe drinks down the lineup, gets the last glass, takes a sip. He's like, "Man, this is really good." So, you make it, we'll make it the best grapes, the best of our grapes that we can make any given year, the best wine that we can make, and I'll figure out how we'll get it on the shelf. So he starts to think about it. He thinks, well, it doesn't really say how big you have to write what's in the bottle on the bottle. Cabernet, Merlot, red wine, red blend, whatever. So he thinks, I'll write a description really small, and if I can think of a name that's going to elevate the stature, add some prosperity to this wine, I'll write that really big. People drink this beautiful wine, they think of that word, and vice versa. Maybe we're onto something. So he tasks his team here, his friends, his family, kind of everybody with these parameters to try to name this wine. Nothing's really sticking, though. Keep in mind, he's had a successful business career to this point, and he's learned a few lessons in that career. And one of the lessons that he learned was that his handshake tended to go a little further, his word mean a little bit more when he's in his dress blues. So he's getting ready to go to a charity or a gala here in town. He's pressing his uniform here at the home ranch. He sits down in front of the mirror, he throws his jacket on, he sees on his breast there his medals, and on his lapel he spots his naval insignia. And it dawns on him that he's going to name his flagship wine Insignia. And he likes that because he credits the military with a lot of his success later in life. So it sits very well with him, and I like to share that because it's a cool story. But it's also very historically formidable. At that moment, then, Insignia becomes the first proprietarily named wine here in the Napa Valley. It also becomes one of the first premium Bordeaux blends here in Napa. And it changes the industry. To quote Robert Mondavi, I saw the YouTube video, so a direct quote, he said, with Insignia, Joe Phelps put us on notice, he says. And he goes on to explain that it made him consider whether or not he was making the best wines that he could make at that point. And Mondavi's got access to all kinds of grapes. So it inspires him. He reaches out to Rothschild over in France. Very famously, they collaborate. They debut their Bordeaux blend 4 years later, 1978, Opus 1. The rest of the valley reacts the same way. These days, you can't drive up or down valley, pass by these big, beautiful houses. They don't have their proprietary blend, Bordeaux blend, Meritage, red blend, or whatever it is. And a big part of that impetus started here with Insignia and Joe's legacy. So then when it comes to Bacchus, like I said, we call this home ranch because Joe's living here on the property. he's driving down to Oakville all the time, or driving on Silverado Trail, not a whole lot of roads here in Napa. And as he's driving through Oakville, he keeps seeing on his left this beautiful hillside. He thinks it's just perfect for Cabernet. It's got
Thank you. Have a good one. All right. Thank you.
Oh, it's got like a full ring.
It does, bro. It's like the guy that came to the casino. The other guy. No, the guy was like, what do you want? A bouquetier of vegetables. Are you French? No, but I'm pretend like I'm one. He say that.
Holy shit, no vegetable.
Bouquetier of vegetable. In this stain on the glass. Can you change it for me? Fucking me.
Just don't talk anymore, Nate.
I'm not talking, bro. I forget, bro. Luis's polished glasses look like that. I forget.
Yeah, thank you.
That is very true.
Yeah, I can't fight the water system right now.
No, it's not you, bro. He's just giving me shit, so I have to give him shit back. Exactly.
No, this guy is good. He's bouquetier vegetables. When he goes to a restaurant, people run away from him because how sensitive he is.
Fucking Luis, bro.
I did it my whole life.
No, he only needs a little bit. 'Cause he's the
We're a
driver.
little different here.
He's the driver.
Well, this guy, you know, he's white people. I'm telling you.
We're the worst, bro. The fucking worst, bro.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Espousing whiteness.
So yeah, sure.
Unfortunately, that's not outside. We focus on cab. So we are a little bit of an explainer for people. We're a vineyard management and development company first. We have been for a very long time. Family goes back to 1855 on their mom's side and 1911 on their dad's side, growing grapes here in Napa. So we did have prohibition though. So in reference to what you're going to be tasting, we're owned by 4 brothers. Unfortunately, now 3. Their dad restarted the vineyard coefficient in the late 50s, early 60s. We planted this in 1960, and this kicked off our hillside specialty. At this point, we have about 74 clients. We manage about 1,000 acres here in Napa. So they pay us to upgrade, plant, replant, and consult. We're not necessarily a labor company. We employ on that side of the business everything from viticulturalists, geologists, a cartology department, as well as fabricators, heavy equipment operators, and mechanics, and truck drivers.
Oh, this guy belongs to the cartel. So
there you go. So many of our clients are up on Howell Mountain. We planted a big chunk of that back in the 80s, and then everything you see from Odette up to Frank Family Winston Hill, with a few exceptions on the hillside, that's us. So what that means to you guys, if we're getting grapes from properties that don't belong to Pinas, which we own 5 acres here and 5 acres up on Howell Mountain, which we sell our majority of fruit from, we're getting them from properties that we've planted and we've been farming at least 25 years. Now these are clients that don't make wine. They just grow grapes and sell them. So it's a win-win when we make these wines. We're quite literally cherry picking, and that's the hardest thing to get across to the public. Wine may be subjective when you talk about it and write about it, but grapes are not. They're quantifiable. And in any given vineyard of Providence, there will be A++ quality fruit, just not enough to make anything more in a couple more cases from.
So you only do estate wines?
Estate doesn't mean anything to us because we never pay for fruit by the ton. And these are clients that are already paying us. They love the fact that we cherry pick their vineyards because they get a representational bottle of their highest fruit quality and singularity. So if they lose a client, they come to us and buy our wine, and that's what they show off their property with.
Oh, okay.
So we don't dent their property, and if they were to sell the grapes that we selected off their property to somebody else, they just get washed away in a bigger case production.
Oh.
So we're the guys that actually grow the grapes for them. And then they sell the grapes to crop. It's a little bit more fruit and acid.
Yeah, that's true.
So she's looking to balance those. When you're down in the Caneros, it's pretty homogenistic fruit. So any kind of process you put on it's going to jump out at you. You get up north, Calistoga, St. Helena, much hotter. You use full-on secondary fermentation on that, as well as oak. That's like grabbing the football and running with it. So you got those extremes. Properties located in the middle, winemaking matches. Chardonnay is the one grape that's affected heavily by process. Cabernet, you can do voodoo on. It's not going to change the fruit quality or the profile of that vineyard.
Yeah.
Come on, guys, drink up.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Finish it up. Chateaubriand.
So,
Le Papé. How do you say papa in France? Le Papé. How do you say mama? Le. You say Chateaubriand
This from
here?
2016
He's getting out of
vintage.
control.
The vintage 2016. Okay.
yeah, 2016 Diadema. This is right down by, right across the street from Luna Tasting Room on Hardman. So it's that hill that goes, that road that goes up a hill and down a hill over the Silverado Country Club or Silverado Trail closer to Napa. So getting all that afternoon sun because it's westerly facing and on a hillside.
I can imagine how much fruit is going to
But yeah, it's the color, you see?
Yeah, it's the most fruit-forward vineyard we work with.
I can see it on the
Terrible.
color.
When we process the fruit on this, it's almost unmistakably Diadema. It's neon purple. As we get further up into the hillsides, a little bit more encouraged struggle on vine, they get darker and darker until we get up to Howell Mountain and you can't even shine a flashlight through. So all your tannin structure and your color is coming from the skins. So skin density is indicative of struggle on vine. It's the reproductive portion of the plant, which is the grape. When the vines are working really hard, you get smaller berries, and nature will build up a denser skin that protects that smaller berry. And that skin density is where you get your color and tannin structure. So sun-exposed tannins are another way to have that work out. In other words, we're westerly facing, but they're a little softer than that encouraged struggle. This particular property is slightly richer soil, so we're not getting quite that skin density, but we're getting all that ripening. It is still 100% cab and it benefits from age though.
This Cabernet.
I think the Cabernet is, I don't know. I'm gonna start
If you are looking for a reasonable price, it's $85, right?
Yes.
So it's good.
Not right
No?
now.
How is this? Is like according to the the Von Williams, he said that it's kind of heavy, right?
Yeah.
How is it?
I think it's for what I'm tasting here. I think it's a good quality.
But, yeah. Even though the place is small, there is right.
Yes, sir.
It's good for the steak, maybe.
Cheers.
All right. But it's the price is also okay.
No, you got your fucking.
So we are on the Italiano. What is the name of this place, please? It's like a Italian.
It's an Italian food, and all of us, we're gonna have such a good time.
All right. After Carlito, yeah. After the wine tasting, so we're gonna have a lunch here. So there's the guys here. So the John changed the Luis. You see the John? He changed it now, right? He have like a dozen of the t-shirts he brought, so he wants to change it. Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Let's see, we're gonna have a lunch. Very nice restaurant, right? Nice place, right? Alright. It's kind of busy for lunch. Busy here. Kind of busy. Thank you. Oh, what a table we have. Alright. Yeah, me too. Alright, this is our table for 6. Oh, so don't look fresh now. Are they? Yeah.
Okay, I think you know.
Chili flakes, huh? Thank you. Yeah, steakhouse.
I've been once on the Italian.
The Tony's. Yeah.
Right when his brother's the manager there.
Yeah.
If you go here, why you think
Are the candles lit?
quieres que te prendan la vela, güey? You have tomahawks on the steakhouse?
Yeah, man, for sure.
Salmon, alright. Salmon.
You want some vodka? Look at that. I think I need to get
He looks good.
We have the first, this one is caprese salad. Oh, really? Caprese.
chicken try.
Chicken, alright.
Was right here for this guy.
Yeah.
And the new kitty. Thank you, brother. Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at that food.
Okay, ready,
Luis.
guys?
Yeah, what kind of this winery now we are in?
We're looking into winery called Caymus. We're here to enjoy Caymus
one of the
Select
famous-
and the regular Caymus. We have some of the cruise here. Someone here, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Listen to the captain of 630 Park Steakhouse,
Uh-huh.
Luis.
All right.
Mata Diaz. Mata means the killer.
The killer. So, Caymus here, right here, Caymus. So we are on the Caymus after the Joseph L. and the Pina. So this is another famous winery in the Napa Valley.
Luis, you think you climb this? Huh? You climb this one? Yeah, right. Let's drink. No, let's drink first. And then I don't know what he has this. I don't know.
Testing room hour 9 to 4:30. 9:30 to 4:30. It's a beautiful place with the water. No? Yeah. Yes, alright. Hello. Yes. You're gonna be famous now.
Oh, it feels so good here, nice and fresh.
Let's see.
Yeah.
How are you feeling, Luis? Luis?
Luis has got his wine glass and he's ready to go.
Nice and shady.
Yeah, we have
Yeah.
some shade for you.
Wonderful.
Alright, thank
These are
you.
your glasses.
What's
you
your
get
name?
To, Lily.
Alright.
You get to keep these.
Alright, this is my glasses. Alright. Thank you. Oh, thank you. So this is gonna be for the souvenir. This is gonna be for the souvenir. Alright. Thank you. Thank you.
Booster seat for him that I can put in.
One space. Alright. We're gonna do the Caymus. The Caymus.
It's been a small you so many.
Can I see
Yeah,
one?
yeah, of course.
Alright, so I'll take this one. Alright.
Phelps, bro.
Alright.
Yeah, I know.
Miss.
Imported from France.
Alright. Alright. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. This is 1 out of 8 labels that we have here.
Oh.
So I know you're at Caymus. Mercer Lake technically is its own label, and it's all owned and made by the Wagner. French German, been here since 1906. But with Caymus, it's Chuck Wagner. Now the next generation here are making wine, so the kids. So this is the oldest son, Charlie, who makes Mercer Lake.
Oh.
So that's why we have the multiple labels, because there's 2 boys, 2 girls, and they're all in the wine industry.
Yeah.
So
I had to meet them. I used to work as a lodge, and I got the opportunity to talk to them.
Oh, yeah?
The one they got 2 kids, and yeah, they're great people.
yeah,
to be
super.
around.
We don't have a vintage on here because we're blending different years
Oh, okay.
and different areas in California. That's why they do a lot series so you know what release we're on.
You know, another word what it is? That the chef is special. Anything that is there, that will take it, process, and have the name on it, and then when you have it, it's like the chef, we have so much of this, so much of that. That doesn't mean that things have been pre-selected, like if it's the Caymus. That means they're getting great for every place, and then it's just...
Maybe you guys can hire him.
Yeah, we'll hire
Yeah.
So this is, think of like Champagne region, you know, for Champagne they've been doing it for a while. So why not do it with red wine? So with this you get a little more freedom as a winemaker because you can pick this from this year, this from that year, and you put them together and then you get a great everyday table Cabernet Sauvignon. And the price point is $22.
Oh, yeah?
Paying that $100 wine.
Table wine, basically.
Table wine, yeah. It's like
Easy drinking.
That's gonna be...
I like a kind of sweet also a little bit, right?
Yeah, it's very rich in fruit. So
Yeah.
the thing is, this when they started making this, it was meant just for restaurants. But it became so popular that they started selling it in stores.
People love that.
Now another label here, Emilo, but this is now the daughter Jenny Wagner making the Emilo. So she's the oldest of the two, but just released the 2019 Emilo Merlot.
Merlot, Merlot. Like the Dutch Merlot, that's one. I need you to describe me the wine. Now start with your yummy.
It feels like there's like an explosion in my mouth. Like blueberries, blackberries, currants, cherries.
Yeah, vanilla.
I don't know.
I got dark chocolate.
Oh, dark chocolate, dark chocolate.
What about plum in there?
Oh, that's right, plum. I forgot about that one. Plum.
It's just a plum pie, you know, it's just smell.
How you feel? Like how the wine?
Fantastic.
Just like that?
Yeah, if you want, Luis has lots of words.
Luis,
for you. If you want.
can you spell?
He's done talking. Oh,
You tired or what?
Yeah.
We are the only one who's here. You know?
he was going at 110 all day.
Yeah.
Now
He finally hit 100.
Tell me about the Caymus.
I've talked to you.
You're it.
You are the Somalian.
Fernando.
What makes this such a good young cab though? Like, because that's what it's known for, right?
Yeah, well, it's very approachable for being cab. If you notice, you do get the tannins, but it doesn't dry out there.
Yeah.
So we grow the grapes mainly on the valley floor, so that's why they produce this style of cab. And now it's only being aged every year in the barrel.
Oh, really? Yeah. So I remember I tasted the 2018. It was a little different. I think it was a. Huh?
I like this. Like I've tried
Oh, really?
the one we have at work, and I like this one.
I
Yeah.
haven't tried the one at work actually. What year is that, anyways?
It's 27.
Well, aging wise, if you're looking to age your wine for the long term, this is better. If you look at this bottle, it's a lot longer. You get a longer neck, so then you get the cork that's a little longer as well.
Okay.
But it has more tannins because it's aged in the barrel for 36 months versus 12.
Okay, 36, 12.
Yes, French oak. They don't tell us if it's new, second vintage. They don't even give us the name of the vineyard, so what's the exact percentage. But I would tell you this would be better. This is richer, a little more concentrated, so that's why it's better to age longer.
So 12 and what was
12 months versus 36 months. So
12 and 36 on the barrel.
on the barrel.
Because in a restaurant setting, like what would be the difference, you know? Because you're
All right, that's it for Caymus.
we done.
All right, how is the experience,
Going
Luis?
home. It was a
We're
good
going-
experience. We're going home.
All right.
Experience was great, guys.
All right. Where
Let's
is
do
the-
it again next summer.
Where is the next destination hour?
Absolutely. Nick, talk something in the
Where is the next
Fucking
destination?
incredible.
No,
don't
next
know.
destination.
Next destination? I don't know, bro. Maybe Vegas.
Vegas, yeah. This is Caymus, so see you next time, Caymus.